You know what? I'll be very honest with you. A lot of the time when I don't necessarily upload something is the days I try to upload really anything. And when it comes down to it, the reason why I don't do it is because I usually just scrap those videos because I'm immediately thinking when I get done recording it and tossing it into the editor and I'm about to start working on it, the first thing that kind of pops up in my brain is, will anybody watch this or will anybody care? And that's kind of like the main thing that kind of stops me from uploading some days, outside the fact there's just times where I just get really tired and do everything else that isn't necessarily content. But still, nonetheless, you know, I want to try to at least, you know, see if I can take these ideas, not listen to the voice in my head that just telling me to not upload shit, and just kind of go ham at what we do. Even if these videos don't necessarily do well, I would rather have it out there than not. Even if it's literally me just saying the word pancake in the video, I'd rather be that, you know, be the video, and then that's basically it. It didn't, you know, call it a day. Because I also might realize that for some of y'all might be just waiting for the time I do upload, at least for the people that do really care that much. And you just wait for whatever the hell that you really want to see when it comes down to me. But, you know, times I don't, you get disappointed, and I can definitely understand that. Though I will have that problem with this video because we're about to mention somebody. So as you know, if you're an OG person of this channel, obviously outside of Danganronpa, the only other really big obsession I guess I had at the time was also Otaku Versus, which is also another YouTube channel that, you know, uploaded a lot of wild and crazy cool content. Honestly, very high production valued ass content, and to be honest, it's something that I still want to try to mimic on this channel in some shape and form whenever the hell that time comes though. But when it comes down to it though, a channel I looked up to before I even started content creation, I was immediately like, yeah, I like this channel. If I ever do content creation, this is one of those inspirations that's going to help me too. Because outside of the Anime Man and outside of Nux back then, when it comes down to it, yes, this was also another channel that very much inspired me to want to create my own damn channel at some point in time, if I ever had the chance to. My first video I ever seen of them was essentially Goku in the car with Oda-chan just driving it on some damn nonsense, and Oda-chan looked like she about to drive this damn car off the damn bridge or cliff or whatever the hell's nearest to the next body of water, honestly. So that was the first one I've seen, and ever since then I absolutely loved the character and I absolutely loved the channel, what it did. Now you're probably wondering, Jay, why the hell are we talking about this today? Like, of all things, why? Is it just you sucking the dick of another channel? Slightly, kinda, but also kinda with a story of my own when it comes down to the channel, or at least when it comes down to, I guess, the things that kind of happened around certain points in time early back then, I guess, in a way. You'll understand as we kind of go into this video. But point is, I'm basically just trying to give you the origin story of where the hell I started liking Otaku Versus in some shape or form, because again, that was that point. And then I liked the anime that they put out, obviously, so much so that we did reviews back then for the damn anime. Created a whole intro because I liked the damn anime that damn much. Honestly, it was fun, it was good.
Showtime!
What's up guys, it's your boy JSipX4, and I feel like a mixed bag on this one. Otaku Versus. Also, you hear that terrible audio quality I had back then? And that damn watermark in the background? Trash! We stepped up. So yeah, definitely your boy has stepped up in some time. Cause goodness gracious, I know y'all didn't want to hear my trash ass voice like that in that trash recorder that I was using. But you get the point. I was at a point where I was just enjoying the hell out of Oda-chan's character. So much so that I often used to draw a lot of fan art for her, and I would still draw fan art of her now if I really wanted to. I just haven't had a reason to, much less really haven't had like an idea to just do something with her. But still, I really do still love Oda-chan, obviously. I feel like that's a bit obvious when it comes down to things, but still, nonetheless, just want to put that out there. But yeah, I drew her quite a bit. I don't have all the fan art I used to have, but I still have a fair amount of it still. But when it comes down to it, though, it was a nice ass time. I used to post a lot of it on Twitter when I had another account, and then that shit got yeeted for some weird ass reason I don't even remember at this point. But when it comes down to it though, yeah, I had posted a lot of time, and in hell, even Otaku Versus and Oda-chan's Twitter accounts would actually retweet or like the actual picture of what I drew, and it was a good ass time. Much less on Instagram, when I did have an Instagram at the time. When it came down to it, I even had gotten into the stories of, you know, Otaku Versus, you know, on the Instagram story type of thing. And that was also like another thing that was pretty damn cool. Then, hell, it was even small moments of time where I was even able to talk to the person behind Otaku Versus, which is Yusuf, for those that may not necessarily know. And that shit was honestly really damn cool. Had a fun time, even though it was small conversations, still had a fun time because he did not have to take time in his day to talk to me, of all people. So, you know, that was honestly a really good thing. Down to earth man, definitely can say that. But when it comes down to it though, and that was kind of how it was in the beginning, it was pretty damn good, pretty damn chill, fun times. And then Zontan X Oda-chan happened. Remember that whole trend where everybody was going ballistic over that and everybody was losing their shit? People were making fan art left and right out the wazoo when it comes down to it, and everybody was just enjoying the time of the damn trend. And funny enough, at that point in time, I already had the idea of Oda-chan and Zontan kind of meeting up in a way, because I drew that shit like months prior, and I put that shit on Twitter, tagged Oda-chan, tagged Zontan as well, and just, you know, being like, yeah, I did this shit first, so I claimed this damn thing if anybody got to claim this damn thing, right? And that's how it was. And my dumbass was sitting here thinking that, you know, that's just how it is, probably ain't gonna nobody gonna see this damn tweet, but just put it out there, just put it out there. And if you've seen the old video that I did of this whole conversation, then you know what happens next. Zontan actually did see that damn picture, and she even questioned me that, yo, my boy, is there gonna be some good Jinsai coming through in the future of this damn, you know, art that you got going here? And that's when things started to change, because number one, I've known Zontan for a long ass time, not personally, but as a fan, and when it comes down to it, I've known her in ages where I probably shouldn't have known her, but still nonetheless, it was a character that, honestly, in the beginning, I despised, because why did you do that to my characters? But when it comes down to it, though, I was also like, now, after seeing like a lot of the ZTV stuff and just seeing what she kind of is like as a character, I was enjoying her character more. And so I started to honestly really like this lady. And when it comes down to it, getting the opportunity to have this small little conversation with her over quote tweets and stuff like that, it was interesting. It was something I didn't expect in a million years, and yet Zontan, of all people, interacting with my dumbass. My stupid dumbass. So you asked me, am I really gonna do this or not, after Zontan literally just came down and reached out her hand to me, being like, show the world what you can actually kind of provide and do. Hell yes, I was gonna take it. Why wouldn't I? So I ended up drawing the picture, and while I can't show it here, all I'm gonna say is it's a lot of nut going in and out of holes. That's all I gotta say. With a tentacle monster that may be or may not be there, honestly, with my ass in the middle between these two fine ladies. So that's essentially how the picture kind of came out, and I ended up posting it. And again, Zontan did actually see it, and honestly quote tweeted it as well. And I was just thanking her for the honor of actually just reaching out to me in a way, because it was something I didn't think that was gonna happen. And she was just like, yo, it's nice to make a Jinsai artist out you, my boy. And that was essentially it. Never talked to Zontan ever again after that, but it's still something that I very much cherish as like a moment in the whole entire history I've been online, honestly. So that was like a major and cool ass thing that kind of happened, and honestly, still one of my top 5 moments of all time. Because at that point, I ain't gonna hold you, I thought I was actually the shit. For 10 minutes, I actually thought I was him, honestly. I was the Satoru Gojo of the art world of the internet. Dead ass. I was like, give me my money, bring me my Hellcat, so I can ride around in circles in this bitch. That's how I was feeling. I was actually feeling like I was him for 10 minutes. And that should have been, or at least what I thought was going to be the ending of everything. Still draw Oda-chan, you know, get the respect of Zontan, and everything is cool, right? But that's not how that shit kind of went though. So here's the thing. While I did get the respect of Zontan, and while 200 and I think 72 people did like and see the artwork that I did, and honestly, you know, got a lot of praise for it, but at the same time, I believe that's when I lost something of actual value, or at least I think this is what happened. Because when at the time Zontan and Oda-chan thing was trending, you gotta remember, Oda-chan was not necessarily like, you know, something that was super duper duper well known as she is now. Like, there was not a lot of fan art on her, and for the small part of it that was on the NSFW side, you know, the most you've seen of Oda-chan was her spreading her cooch. That's the most you've seen. So with my art kind of, you know, implying that Jay and, you know, Lenny kind of just went out their way to clap the cheeks of both Zontan and Oda-chan, you know, something that hasn't been done before, that's kind of, you know, a bit of a different take. Because usually you've seen people that was like, oh, maybe kissing her, groping on her in some shape or form, but no one has ever straight up made out with her completely with, you know, the smashing sessions. And Jay kind of did that with Lenny, so that's kind of what the picture was implying though, right? I mean, there was tally marks on their legs counting how many times they got basically busted inside of, so that's kind of what that was. And when it comes down to it, ever since then, I have never had like a notification from Otaku Versus or the Chan's account on Twitter, or just anything related to them after that whole thing. Like, anytime I drew new fan art, anytime I did something Otaku Versus related or Oda-chan related, nothing. Even with the waifu material that we did not too long ago, some months back, when it comes down to it, still absolutely effing nothing. And while you could sit here and say, well, they're a bigger account now, they're a bigger channel and stuff now, while you could argue that point, I have been noticed by a few other bigger channels that isn't them, and it's like, well, that's kind of BS. So they would have seen me by how much I've posted by now. But when it comes down to it though, I believe they just choose not to, because I believe that one picture might have set some shit off where they didn't necessarily like me when it comes down to it though. Which I believe that's a kind of a bit understandable, because when it comes down to it, think about it. You had a character, no one did anything to her until this random ass kid just did something. But then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of, you know, what the internet is. I mean, there is a rule about it. If the character exists, there will be content made on it. I just so happen to be one of the first ones to take it that far. But yes, you are also hearing what I'm implying. Jay is also the first person in fan canon that clapped Oda-chan's cheeks and took her first time. Damn, that's crazy. Hidden lore about Oda-chan you didn't know. Game theory, try to match that shit. But yeah, essentially when it comes down to it though, that I feel like that one picture might have had caused some nonsense at play and possibly ruin that relationship essentially, which at the time it was understandable. But then when you look at what they are now and how they're doing things now, it doesn't make sense, because now they have on their Patreon Oda-chan getting banged officially by an actual studio that's animating this stuff, right? So it's like, okay, so I did this in the past, for them to do that in the future. Huh? Now, I ain't saying I'm the only one that wanted to see Oda-chan get clapped up, honestly, because multiple people wanted to see Oda-chan get clapped up. But when it comes down to it, though, yo, I was the first step, to be perfectly honest. But the whole thing is, when it comes down to it, just in general, though, and that one thing that really kind of bothered me the entire time is not much the content that's being made of her now. It's more so of the, you know, I guess the silent communication that kind of went ahead of that, because of that one incident of what I ended up doing, or at least that's what, again, what I think happened. I believe I also tried to apologize for it at one point in time by DMing the actual account, you know, before at one point, and I think everything was cool beans, but at the same time I don't necessarily remember. I can't remember because it's been so long, honestly. But the point is though, is that after that moment, again, lost contact, nothing ever happened with that, and which is a shame, because again, I still like that channel very much. I still like Oda-chan, honestly, and hell, I've been thinking about it twice now, about making a OVA on Kokatsu just using a story with Oda-chan as a whole and how they kind of would interact in that universe. But when it comes down to it though, yeah, it was just a weird ass thing that kind of happened, and something I wish we had, you know, a bit more context on, or at least a bit of communication still at play, because yeah, honestly, it's kind of sucks, because hell, when they started making their own anime, I was actually inspired and honestly was like, yo, maybe I can learn something from this creator. Maybe I can learn something from him so I can get my anime going one day at some point in the future. And you know, that's one other thing that helped me keep going with writing my own stories at the time and continue on just doing what I do. But when it comes down to it though, that lack of communication always hurt me for some reason, and maybe that was the reason why. Should there be animosity still now? Really? No, because again, Oda-chan gets banged a lot on her Patreon, so I don't see why we can't necessarily, you know, have some type of communication. But and to be honest, I don't even know if they even remember me at this point. But when it comes down to it though, it's always been something that's weird that stuck out to me, right? It's always been something that's been that damn weird when it comes down to it. But point is, when it comes down to it, I'm not saying this or any of that to be angry at them or anything like that, because I'm absolutely not. It's honestly fun drawing Oda-chan and putting her into ridiculous situations, and honestly, would I create more content of Oda-chan getting clapped in implied ways? Probably. Most likely I would. But when it comes down to it though, you know, it's just a weird little thing that happened though. So at the end of it, I still like Oda-chan as a character. I still like Otaku Versus as the channel that they are, even though they haven't uploaded in a year, which is, you know, beating Corey Kenshin's record. But when it comes down to it though, it just like, I wish there was that, you know, connection of communication that we can have though, right? I would very much love to have one day, you know, JS Senpai X4 and Otaku Versus somehow collaborate and team up in some shape or form, which will be the dopest shit of all time. But when it comes down to it though, I don't know if that will work because of what happened in the past, and if that was a deciding factor, right? I don't know. I just feel like it would be kind of weird to be like, oh, that wasn't the factor, and then, you know, nothing was, and then we just cut off communication for some weird reason. I feel like that will be a lie. I feel like that picture had to do something with it, but again, I don't necessarily know, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, essentially, that's what I really wanted to talk about. Really, I was just in an Oda-chan high as well too, and I really just wanted to talk to Oda-chan related. And I was like, why not give the history of this shit? Because this was something that happened. It was a huge deal for me, but at the same time, I lost something in it too, which kind of makes me kind of sad about it. And thinking about it kind of was like, if anything that I regret doing YouTube on, if I had any regrets, it is definitely this moment in time where I lost that communication, because I thoroughly loved talking and just interacting with both those accounts and the creator as well, and losing that link was kind of just something that was a bit unfortunate, honestly. And you know, I ain't sitting here trying to be like, oh, I desperately want that connection and communication back again, please, I'll do anything. I ain't like that now, because come on, I have a bit of respect for myself, not a lot, but a bit. And when it comes down to it though, you know, if it doesn't really happen, or if they don't even see this video, or no one does anything or anything like that, then, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I just want to put it out there because, you know, this was one, the start where I also got, you know, really invested into drawing a lot more stuff, and two, this was also the point in time where I was thoroughly invested into Oda-chan's character, and it was also a big moment for me, as well as a moment where we lost that communication, which honestly really sucked. And still, again, no animosity, I still am a fan of them all the way, 100%. So that just is what it is. I'm just waiting on them to drop another episode of the anime now, because where the hell that at, I have no idea. But when it comes down to it though, that's essentially all I really wanted to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.